The most serious crisis since 1945 has erupted on the European continent. It concerns not only Ukraine, it's also about changing the international status quo established after the collapse of the Soviet Union, where the West reigned supreme over the planet. But things are about to change. If Putin wins, then it's not just going to be the Europeans, but all of Europe and the entire world will find ourselves in a completely new reality. This conflict is where the stakes are very high.
President Putin has warned the West not to cross what he called a red line with Russia, stating that it would trigger an asymmetrical, rapid and harsh response.
When a nuclear-armed country fights to the end, it will have consequences far beyond the borders.
Великой Победы! Ура!
И вы окажетесь втянутыми в этот конфликт помимо своей воли.
Is that Putin lied, and there's no denying it. He said the Western claims about an invasion were hysteria, and today Putin is bombing homes, residential areas in Ukraine with his ballistic missiles. So yes, he lied.
No matter how much propaganda the West is pumping across Europe and even over in India against Russia, we are watching the Russian bear roar whilst the West whimpers. On Friday morning, 118 Ukrainian military facilities have been put out of service. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant has been taken under control. Ukrainian air defense systems have been suppressed. The military infrastructure of military air bases have been disabled. And judging by the videos in Ukrainian social media, various parts of the country, including the outskirts of Kiev, have already been taken under Russian control. Vladimir Putin is serious. One can tell by his facial expressions. He's angry, and he has every right to be. After all, what kind of statehood and political subjectivity of Ukraine can we talk about at this moment? Putin is bang on the money when he said Ukraine has simply been driven under external control. It's carried out not only at the behest of Western capitals, but also what you call directly on the spot through a whole network of foreign advisors, NGOs and other institutions deployed in Ukraine. There's simply no rule of law in Ukraine. There's no independence in their justice system. The United States Embassy directly controls the National Agency for the Prevention of Corruption. It's obvious that the country has become an obedient tool in the hands of the United States and its Anglo-Saxon allies. At the same time, this tool is specifically aimed at Russia. Yes, Ukraine is a Western project, and this project is specifically anti-Russia, and that's the threat to Putin. The vast amount of Ukrainian airfields are actually located near the Russian borders. NATO tactical aircrafts are stationed there, including carriers of high-precision weapons. These weapons will be able to hit Russian territory to a depth of the Volgograd, Kazan, Samara, Astrakhan border. The deployment of advanced weapons that exist today on the territory of Ukraine will allow NATO to tightly control the airspace of Russia up to the Urals, the mountain region, and Putin simply can't have that. Also, the United States broke the treaty on intermediate and shorter range missiles. The Pentagon is openly developing a number of ground-based strike weapons, including ballistic missiles capable of reaching targets at a distance of up to 5,500 kilometers. If such systems are deployed in Ukraine, they'll be able to hit objects throughout the European territory of Russia, as well as beyond the Urals. The flight time to Moscow of Tomahawk cruise missiles will be less than 35 minutes. Ballistic missiles from the Kharkov region 7 to 8 minutes, and hypersonic strike vehicles 4 to 5 minutes. This, my dear friends, is called a direct knife to the throat. Russia will win over in Ukraine, but it will not occupy it. Ukraine will remain a sovereign state. After the completion of the Russian special military operations out there, a new government will be formed that will serve first of all its people, the Ukrainians, and not serve the interests of the oligarchs and the other countries, primarily the United States. Russia is willing to talk. Vladimir Putin is not the madman the West portrays. After all, Putin met with Ilham Aliyev from Azerbaijan, a country which was also a part of the Russian Soviet Union not so long ago. Putin is not looking to capture Azerbaijan and has no ambitions to do so. All Russia wants is friendly neighbors, not puppets controlled by the West. And in today's world, puppets are becoming very easy to spot, especially with the rise of China and America's desperation to hold on to power. And unfortunately, most Western leaders are compromised today. They all sing from the same hymn sheet, condemning Russia and the so-called occupation of Ukraine. But they are silent when Israel repeatedly breaches international law in terms of the occupied territories out in Palestine, the illegal settlements, and the treatment of the Palestinian people. And that's exactly why Russia is sick and tired of the West and it's looking towards the East. And can we blame them? We can tell by the visit of Imran Khan to Russia. Yes, it was planned. No, Russia didn't accommodate the Pakistani Prime Minister to have a go at Modi for joining Quad. But Putin strongly believes in good friendship with everyone, especially Eastern powers. Russia and Pakistan have been getting close in recent years, firstly by signing of a bilateral defense cooperation agreement in 2014 and the inclusion of Pakistan in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization with Russian support back in 2017, and now Russian investors are keen to explore the possibilities of investments in Pakistan. As Russia was launching a defensive battle out in Ukraine, Imran Khan was in Moscow getting a warm reception from Russian leaders. All this shows us how serious Russia is about friendship and brotherhood in the East, unlike NATO and the United States. The ball is now in the court of the Ukrainians, whether they wish to see de-escalation. However, with the current puppet regime in place out there, I see no chances of that. Russian President Vladimir Putin demands that the Ukrainian authorities recognize Crimea as part of Russia and abandon the idea of joining NATO. But a puppet can't go against his masters. Zelensky is on a leash and he knows it very well. If you'd like to see Armageddon, World War III, Malhama, Mahaproloi, or whatever word you wish to use for the great battle in the end times, then keep supporting and cheering for NATO. However, if you want peace, then understand and listen to the Russian side. It was yesterday Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that he's decided to conduct a special military operation to protect Donbass. He announced this during an address to his fellow citizens. Putin has also turned to outside forces, not mentioning names, but he meant the United States and NATO, of course, that might try to pose a threat to Russia, and according to him, Russia's response will be immediate. It's the end of the regime in Ukraine. It's a matter of time. They need to put their guns down. Zelensky must go. If he continues to use radicals and fight the Russians and the innocent people of Donbass, the end will come much faster.